When my father died, I had to clean out the old family home. Mom had passed years ago. I'm an only child. I always thought I knew my dad. He was a quiet man. He raised me alone after my mom's accident. The attic was always off limits growing up. He said it was full of junk. And, honestly, I never questioned it. But when I went up there, it wasn't junk. It was clean, organized. And in the corner, there was an old trunk with a padlock. I pried it open with a crowbar. Inside, dozens of letters. All addressed to me. Each envelope marked with a date. But the strange part? The first letter was dated 2 years before I was born. I thought maybe it was a mistake. Maybe the letter was meant for someone else with the same name. But it started with, "To my daughter, someday." It was in his handwriting. He wrote about a girl, me, how he hoped I'd be kind and strong, and that I'd never find out the truth. What truth? Was there something my father didn't want me to know? I opened more letters. They weren't dated yearly. Some were just weeks apart. Some were angry. In one, he wrote, "I saw her again today. She looks just like you would have." Another said, "I had to tell the orphanage no. I can't do this twice." And in the third, "Your mother would never forgive me if she knew." My mother died in a car crash when I was 7. At least that's what he told me. My aunt told me my mom left when I was 2, said she couldn't do it anymore, said she wasn't ready to be a mother again. Again? I asked what she meant. She told me my mom had a daughter before me. Her name was Rachel. She died when she was 5. And no one ever talked about her again. My dad burned all the photos. I was reeling. Everything I thought I knew was coming apart. The attic, the letters. My mom wasn't dead. There was another child. And then I remembered something else. The locked drawer in my dad's bedroom. The one he never let me open. I'd had enough. I grabbed the crowbar and went straight to it. My dad worked the same job for 22 years. He laughed at bad jokes. He couldn't cook to save his life. He was boring, ordinary. Why would he have so many secrets? I pried the drawer open. Inside, photos. A little girl with curly hair. On the back, Rachel, year 1995. Her face. She looked just like me. No, she looked exactly like me. There was a birth certificate, same last name, same hospital, born 8 years before me. And next to it, a death certificate. But the cause of death was blank. Tucked inside the photo album was one last letter, but this one wasn't from my dad. It was in my mother's handwriting. It said, "If you ever find this, I want you to know. I tried to take you with me, but he said I'd already lost one daughter. He couldn't lose another, so I left. And I've lived with that guilt every day since." At the bottom, she wrote, "Her name was Rachel. Your name was supposed to be Emily. But my name isn't Emily. It's actually Rachel." My hands were shaking. I stared at that letter, not even blinking. Everything I knew about myself, my name, my family, my childhood, felt like it was collapsing. Did Rachel really die? Or did my dad fake her death? Did he raise me again under a new name? Was I Rachel and Emily was just the second chance? Or worse, was I someone else entirely? I didn't know who I was anymore. I felt like a stranger in my own skin. The girl I thought I was. She didn't exist. She was an idea, a memory rewritten, a name picked to forget someone else. I had to know. I called my aunt again, told her I needed to speak to my mother. The mother I thought had died in a car crash when I was 7. The mother I had grieved every birthday, every milestone. She didn't answer, but I didn't stop. 2 weeks later, I found her. She was living just 2 towns away, remarried, a quiet life, no children. I drove to her house, parked outside, sat there for 10 minutes, trying to breathe. Then I knocked and waited. Part of me hoped she wouldn't answer, that I had the wrong house. that I could pretend this search had led nowhere. I turned back toward my car. Then I heard the door open. She opened the door and froze. We just stared at each other. I don't even know what I looked like to her in that moment, but she whispered, "Rachel," and I broke. I collapsed into tears right there on her front step. Everything, the attic, the letters, the lies, it all came out of me like a flood. She didn't try to stop it. She didn't say a word. She just held the door open. We sat in silence for hours. No accusations, no yelling, just two people. Finally in the same room again. I didn't even know what to ask her first, so I started with the only thing I could say. "Who am I?" She told me everything. Rachel didn't die. When she was 5, she had a seizure. She survived, but it left her with permanent neurological damage. My father couldn't accept it. He couldn't accept that his daughter wasn't the same anymore. One day, he checked her out of rehab, drove across state lines, and told everyone, including my mom, that she was gone. Then he changed her name, moved, started over, with me. But I was Rachel. He didn't create a new daughter. He didn't adopt someone. He just rewrote the version of me he could live with. He renamed me, buried the medical records, burned the photos, and made me forget the version of myself that scared him. The attic wasn't just a place to hide things. It was where the version of me he couldn't face stayed behind.